Right, this is how I structure my day as a business owner who doesn't burn out and want to kill himself and actually get good quality work done. And I'm fairly happy and enjoying life and improving. And yeah, I'm going to walk you guys through everything step by step. So lock in, make sure you watch the whole video. All right, welcome to my computer. I'm going to break down this daily routine that's been working great for me. I've tried all the other routines. I've tried different times sleeping and waking up and all the habits. And I've streamlined it so that you're doing the things that only matter. Because the goal is for you guys and for me, like we want to scale our business really fast, right? And I mean, there is a little bit like some faster ways of scaling if you want to feel like shit and have like a terrible, like sometimes you have to like have a terrible unbalanced routine. I'm not here to give you like a healthy, super balanced life, right? I want you guys to work for the majority of your routine. But these are the minimal standards you can have for, just a healthy, fulfilling life where you're not burning yourself out every 1 to 2 weeks. So if that's you, watch this. I'm going to break down everything I do in my day, why I do it, and how it's going to benefit you. So let's get into it. And just so you know, I've tried a bunch of things, and yeah, I've tried the morning routines, the supplements, everything, deep work systems, whatever. So I'm going to explain to you. First thing is your sleep and wake up time is super important. You want to spend the most time thinking about this because once you figure that out, you need to reverse engineer the time you actually get in bed, your night routine, your when you start avoiding blue light, when you finish your last meal, and then boom, 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 boom. Right? Let's say you figured that out, right? I'm not gonna sit here and help you figure it out because I don't know your life. It depends on your responsibilities, etc. I picked a later sleep and wake up time because I live in Bangkok. It's a very fun city. I want to have the option of, if I'm with someone or if I'm doing something fun out and about, it won't mess up with my sleep. That doesn't mean, I get to, the evening time and I'm just wasting time. I'm still working up until, a few hours before bed. I just have the option of, going out, being with someone, whatever it might be, and it not completely disrupting my circadian rhythm, which is super important. You want to pick a sleep and wake up time. This is the most important part. You want to pick a sleep and wake up time that you can realistically follow. I've had friends try and tell me to do the 4 a.m., the 6 a.m., 7 a.m. It just doesn't work for me, right? The main thing is you're getting good quality sleep and you're sleeping and waking up at the same time and it's productive for you and your life and your schedule, right? And you should know upon honest reflection, you should know what sleep and wake up time is realistic for you, and obviously one that you can get more work done. Generally in the morning, like obviously the world hasn't woken up to distract you, and you have more time solo. So yeah, it might just be a discipline thing for you. But don't worry too much about my time. I picked a late time because I live in Bangkok. I want to enjoy the city, whatever. And I'm sleeping at 1 o'clock, no matter what. Even on weekends, most of the time, I'm sleeping at 1 o'clock, waking up at 9. Super important for your circadian rhythm. Otherwise, you're basically jet lagged, and it's going to take 2 weeks to fully get clear again with your circadian rhythm. Like it's just same as traveling, right? So anyway, too much point on that. The reason I get in bed 8.5 hours before my wake up time is because most people think if they get in bed, let's say, oh, I'll get in bed at 1 o'clock and wake up at 9 o'clock. That's 8 hours. Well, no, that's probably like 6.5, 7 hours for some people, right? Because it takes around half an hour to actually fall asleep, usually more. And you'll also lose around 30 minutes or more. Some people is like 1 hour. You'll lose some more time during your sleep, awake time during your sleep. And so to counter that, you want to be in bed for 8.5 to 9 hours before bed if you really want to get 8 hours of sleep or 7.5 hours of sleep. So that's why we do that. And I'm talking, everything's done. You get in bed, you're trying to fall asleep 8.5 hours before bed. So try and do that. These are the first two things you want to put. You want to do an 8 hour block for your sleep, and then, a 30-minute thing on top of it for in bed. And then my unwind kind of goes through the other time. I've got like a half an hour unwind routine. We'll get to that later at the end of the day. So, boom, we've woken up at 9 a.m. We want to wake up at 9 a.m. sharp because you're training your brain to release cortisol at the same time of the day consistently. And it's not a bad cortisol where it's like, oh, stress is bad. Like, no, cortisol is great. Like, that is what gives you that morning natural high, that good boost of energy where it feels like you're on like a natural caffeine high. This is a super important part of your sleep and wakefulness. Like it's going to help you be more awake and alert during the day and be sleepy and tired at night, which is your melatonin. So you want your melatonin high at night, low in the morning. You want your cortisol high in the morning, low at night. And it needs to be like that. Whenever you start sleeping in or waking up at random times, you're skewing it. Your melatonin is going to be high when it should be down. Your cortisol is going to be high, low when it should be high, etc., etc. Same in the evening. So you don't want to fuck with that. I tried to ignore this rule for a long time. When I first moved to Bangkok, I was like, you know what? I know how to get really good sleep. I can give myself the time. I'm just gonna sleep and wake up at random times. But no, no, no. you get insane levels of brain fog when you just sleep and wake up at random times because you're basically jet lagged. You're waking up at random times, right? Am I recording? Cool. You're waking up at random times. You're basically jet lagged, and it takes like up to 2 weeks to fully let your brain get used to that time again and start pinging you with that cortisol. So you're just biohacking yourself. You're going with your biology, and I'm telling you, I was a very stubborn person when it comes to consistent sleep and wake up time. I didn't think it mattered, but it's a huge part of your sleep quality. It's not just your REM and your deep sleep. It's a huge part of the quality of the sleep and how you feel throughout the whole day, throughout the morning. Your sleep and wake up time. Super, super important. So out of all things, this is literally what we've talked about now is already the most important thing. So if you get super clear on that, that's going to help you so much, right? Now, in terms of what do we do when we wake up, right? I've tried the journaling, the long walks, the gym, the whatever. The first few hours of your day, without a doubt, is going to be the strongest brain power time you have to put into your business. So you want to optimize for that. You don't want to waste too much time in the morning. You want to get yourself in a good mood, but you want to do the minimal high impact habits that actually get you in that mood. So the first thing you cannot skip is hydrate. You need to drink 2 cups of water with at least a pinch of salt. So 500 mils of water with salt or electrolyte supplement. You need to hydrate your brain. It's going to have such a massive impact, especially if you're dehydrated, on how you feel, right? The neurons in your brain cannot even fire off properly unless you're hydrated. And even if you're like 97, like if you're like a few percent less hydrated, it can have a massive impact on like the level of mental clarity and how much brain fog you have. So a lot of the time people get brain fog and they're just dehydrated. So just drink water in the morning. It's not hard. I know you might wake up and you don't feel like drinking water, especially cold water. Just don't be a pussy. It has such a good impact on you. So just force yourself, drink it. I mix mine with my supplements. I take taurine. I take about 2 to 3 grams of taurine. I take L-theanine, about 300 milligrams of that. Those both lower cortisol, help me focus. Good paired with coffee. I have coffee later on. I also have creatine. Right now I'm mega dosing it around 15 grams. A lot of research on that. Very good cognitively, good for training as well. What else do I take? I take shilajit, which is this dense kind of mineral they find in the mountains of India. And it's very dense with minerals, about 85 natural minerals that you cannot really find from a normal diet. And yeah, super good for your skin, for testosterone, for detox, and that kind of thing. What else do I have? Maybe I add a little bit more salt, and that's it. 2 cups of water, boom. Also, do your other things in the morning. You shower, you go to the toilet, brush your teeth, whatever. That's 10 minutes, a few minutes hydrating. The next thing I'm going to talk about is walking slash some kind of movement, right? You just spent 8.5, 9 hours sleeping or just in bed. And also the evening before that, probably sat down as well. Your body needs to move. When you don't move, your body will feel terrible. You will not be able to focus and feel good. You're just going to feel moody and depressed. If you don't move your body, like our bodies are made to move, we need to move. And so it's a good time to like get up and go for a walk or do something. Do 50 push-ups, do some shadow boxing. Just get your heart pumping to move the blood around, move the oxygen, move the nutrients around, move the blood in your brain around, and you're going to feel so much better. You're going to be able to sit and work for much, much longer as well. Is one thing that I always notice. Right? So if you don't want to do that, walking is also good because of the third habit I'm going to talk about, sun and light. As I spoke about before, you training your brain, by waking up at the same time every day is setting your circadian rhythm. Now, what helps set the circadian rhythm the most and give you that strong signal to your body to release cortisol and make you feel awake and alert? It's morning light, right? Think about how people were hundreds of years ago. They woke up with the sun went on their body knows, right? I know what time of the day it is consciously. If I look at my phone, it's 12:27, but our body doesn't know what time of the day it is. So we need to tell it that by information. What information? Light, the sunlight, food, movement. These things paired in the morning help you get that strong hit of cortisol, give you that brain power. You train it every day, right? So that's why I recommend walking, just because you're doing two at once. You're getting sun. You want to get around like 5 minutes to 15 minutes if it's very cloudy of direct sunlight in your eyes. Doesn't mean staring at the fucking sun like that, but just getting sun onto your face, right? It's helping give that signal. And I promise you, this is going to be one of the most impactful things you can do for your health and your productivity and your performance, right? So you could actually do all three. You could have a shower, go to the toilet, brush your teeth, grab your water, and go for a walk and sit in the sun. So you could do all three if you really want and save time. But this routine, I give myself an hour here. If I really rush, I could get it done in 30 minutes. So some of you guys might freak out, like, oh, 1 hour might be too long. If you really try, you can get this done in maybe even 20 minutes, right? If you really are dialed in. And so the thing I do after that is I just come back and I sit down and work. I'll put my noise cancelling headphones on. I will play some binaural beats, or I'll play something on Spotify, something that just gets me in the right mood. My phone is away; it's on Do Not Disturb. You know, I'm working on in my office here. I don't sit here and eat. I don't sit here and watch YouTube. You want to have a separate environment, right? So by this time, 10, sometimes even 10:30 if I'm a bit late. But this is all work time up until I eat. And I'm intermittent fasting. When you intermittent fast, you want to do it properly. A lot of people do intermittent fasting. They end up burning out because, A, they're dehydrated, B, they're overly stressed, and C, they're not eating enough throughout the day. So it's just too much stress. It's just you're not fueling your body properly. And it's a mistake I made a lot. So anyway, when you do it the right way and you're hydrating and you're still eating enough, I would actually recommend intermittent fasting, right? It is your body running on stress hormones, so you're running on cortisol and adrenaline. You're going to focus very well. It's probably not the best long term, I've heard, but you guys just care about performing very well, and especially fasted, like your brain just works so much better. And what I would do actually is also, so let's say I wake up at 9 o'clock, I'll actually have a coffee around 10:30. So I'll sit down and work for a few minutes. Once I'm in the flow, I'm starting to get into a flow. I'll have a coffee and it just boosts that flow even more. I'll have a black coffee with MCT oil. So it is sort of breaking the fast, but what MCT oil is coconut oil. What is coconut oil? Well, it's just fat. And what happens when you have fat in a fasted state? Well, you're allowing your brain to use fat as fuel. So you're using ketones. And what happens when your brain's on ketones? You can focus a lot better. Your brain feels so much better running on ketones. So that's something I've been doing lately. Or I'll have a yerba mate, which is like a herbal tea with caffeine in it. But anyway, I'm giving you all the sauce. I'm giving you guys so much detail. I'm just blabbering on. But I'm telling you guys, I'm giving you the sauce right now. So I will sit and work on, I've got like 3 to 4 tasks I'll plan the day before. There'll be specific things. So this is a very good thing to do so you don't get overwhelmed, right? You want to pick like 4 tasks to do on the day. You want to make them specific. So clear inbox, reply to client DMs, send this many follow-ups, edit this video, record this video, and just work through them one by one. And don't have any distractions. Your physical environment, just common sense, put your phone away, mute notifications, only work on one tab at a time on your computer, close all the other tabs, notifications off, work in obviously a quiet environment. All these things are easy. Your digital environment, full screen, one tab at a time. Don't change. Every time you change tasks, you're training your brain to multitask and you're making it super, super hard for yourself, right? And yeah, that is the big thing that causes overwhelm, just multitasking and getting distracted, right? The other distraction you're going to run into is internal distraction. So anytime you get an idea or something, don't act on it straight away. Get through your to-do list. If you get an idea, write it down, right? Have a notepad on your computer or a physical one like this, and you want to just write down the idea that you get, or just the reminder, oh, message that person, or I got this idea, or I want to ask ChatGPT this, whatever it is, write it down and deal with it later. Because you plan these specific key tasks to move your business forward, so you need to focus on those tasks only. Get through them one at a time, and you're going to feel so much better. It's very simple. It's very basic advice that doesn't sound sexy, but it is what works. Just pick a few tasks and work through them one at a time. This is where you get majority of your good work done, right? This is like your first hunt. We're biologically wired to rest and hunt. So we woke up from resting, we're getting ready for the hunt, we're hunting here, and then usually I'll have my first meal around 2 o'clock. That's around 16 hours of fasting. I'll have my meal before then by like 10 o'clock, right? So what I'll have here is a meal. I notice most people after their lunch, they feel like shit and they get a big crash. The reason is because there's a lot of reasons, right? But it's usually the way if you moved, if you delayed your caffeine, sorry, not to be all over the place. The reason I delay my caffeine is because caffeine will give you a crash if you do not delay it. Caffeine blocks a receptor called adenosine. When you block adenosine, it comes crashing down later on. It makes you feel tired. That's what coffee does, right? Anyway, so your first meal, what you want to do to not get that crash is you want it to be fairly high in fiber. You want it to be not super high in carbohydrates, and you want to have a good quality protein. This is going to help you digest the food faster and not crash your blood sugars insanely, right? If you're not intermittent fasting, let's say you had a meal at 10 o'clock and you're eating every like 4 hours or so, which is what I'd recommend if you're not intermittent fasting. If you're doing that, You want to have a protein and carbohydrate balanced meal. You're going to get the fiber and the fat accidentally anyway. Just pick high quality foods. And what that's going to do, it's going to keep your blood sugar stable. So it's going to bounce up and down. You're going to be about 70 to 80% all day, compared to when you're intermittent fasting, you're going to be at like peak brain power. And the most people at peak brain power, they get to 2 o'clock and then they just kill themselves with their diet. And they just, from all this time, after they eat, let's say 2 to maybe even 5 o'clock, their brain is just zapped out. And so if you're intermittent fasting, as I'm recommending, to be honest, in this video, fiber rich, so have a good amount of veg. For example, what I had yesterday was like an entire carrot with one piece of sourdough bread, 4 eggs, feta cheese, and a banana. And that actually is sort of my pre-workout meal as well. So normally wouldn't really have a banana. Kept me very good, kept me very stable. Whenever you have no fiber and you're just having something like meat and rice or chicken and rice with no veg, you're going to get a pretty bad crash, right? Especially because your blood sugars are very, very low after fasting. All right, so yeah, I won't go too much into it. Diet can be a little bit more complicated. There's foods you tolerate better, there's foods you don't tolerate as well. So anyway, after that meal, you are naturally going to get a dip of energy. So what you want to do is just go for a walk. It's going to help you digest the food. You also just worked for like 4 hours straight. So you go for a little walk, get your steps up. You're getting movement. You just refueled. You should be hydrating as well throughout this time. But if not, drink a few cups of water here by this time. I'll usually go for a walk, and I'll start my warm up. Maybe I'll walk to the park or something. I'll come back, get to the gym. I already know what I'm training, so I'll like put this in bracket. I'll say like leg day, something like that. So this counts as like my warm up as well. And then, it's also my break. I'll try not to use my phone as much. I'm just letting my brain recuperate. You need to embrace the rest, because what I'm doing later on is after training, I'm going to have another little chill, and then I'm going to have another mad, like a focus sprint from like 6 to 7 or whatever, all the way up until around like 11:30, right? And so, yeah, you want to help your body digest food. You want to have a break, because that's going to help you later on. So eat, walk, break, train hard, have a good sesh. Don't spam music, right? When I train, I have my noise cancelling, or I have my headphones. I'll record some content as well. It's part of my brand. But usually I'll try and listen to a podcast or a YouTube video. I'll play a few songs here and there, but you want to be careful to not just be there spam, like changing songs over and over and over, and just abusing your dopamine, brainwashing yourself with toxic music. That can really mess you up for later on in the days and the weeks coming on. Music is low-key fucking your focus, so you want to be careful with that. In terms of training, I am training a lot more, bodybuilding style, strength, boosting testosterone. It's honestly a huge performance enhancer in terms of energy, confidence, focus, just looking in the mirror and feeling good about yourself. For me, it helps with my brand as well, so that's why I do it. But yeah, you come back from the gym, you have something that's going to refuel you, obviously a good quality protein, good quality carbohydrate. I'm not going to go too much into diet, or this video will be hours long. You need to figure out, I made another video about how to eat for high performance. I think I uploaded that a few days ago or a week ago, depending when this is coming up. So watch that video in terms of what to eat, when to eat, how to eat it, etc. But I'll eat after training. Keeps me, usually the meal after training, I don't get a crash at all. And I usually just watch a bit of YouTube, chill out while I'm digesting the food a little bit. Then I'll get straight back onto work, right? And I'll get back onto work, I'll reply to DMs, anything urgent quickly, then I'll get back into my key tasks and just go one at a time. And that's it. And I'll just keep doing that. Maybe my friends will call, maybe I'll go for a walk with my friend, or something will come up. If it's worth it, I'll do it. Up to my discipline, right? Up to your discipline as well if you're copying this. And I'll have my last meal around 9:30 p.m. Oh, sorry, 10 p.m. really. I'll start eating. I'll get onto it around 9:30, or I'll get reminded on my phone. And the reason I'm specifically having a meal before 10 p.m. is because I want to sleep by 1 o'clock. And so if you watch my sleep guides or you understand sleep, you want to allow yourself time to digest food before you go to bed. So I'm allowing myself here 3 hours, which is like the minimum amount. Minimum, maximum, whatever. Because obviously if you go to bed, your body wants to recover. Like, you want your body to recover for sleep and performance, not digest food. Your body can only do one or the other. It can't do everything at once. It's not that powerful and strong, right? So I'll have my last meal. Usually I have more sugary foods here. I'll have like my yogurt with frozen blueberries, maybe a few rice cakes, honey. Because if I have that early in the day, if I have too much sugar early in the day, it can kind of mess with my like dopamine and just kind of end up craving more carbohydrates, right? So that's just for me. That's my last meal. And so I'll usually eat that and then work up until 11:30 p.m. And then from 11:30 to 12:30, I'm just enjoying my time, right? Right before that, actually, I'll kind of unwind. I'll finish off my work, send my last few messages, plan my day for tomorrow. I'll pick the key tasks, set reminders on my phone. Um, and yeah, also at 11 o'clock, I'll start avoiding blue light, right? Blue light blockers, lights off, still working on my computer. It doesn't mean you have to stop working. The brightness is low. I use a software called f.lux, and I can show you right here. It actually just kind of blocks it kind of makes your screen orange like that, right? And it helps you avoid blue light. When I say avoid blue light, it means avoid blue light. It doesn't mean put on, there's someone doing some shit outside. It doesn't mean put on blue light blockers. It means avoid it properly. Brightness down, lights off, etc. This is you couldn't really skip it. This is going to impact your sleep and wake up cycles, as I explained before. If you do, have light and exercise and eat a lot during the nighttime, you're gonna just spike your cortisol, and your body's it's just gonna confuse it, and you're not gonna feel sleepy when it's time to feel sleepy, and awake when it's time to be awake. Right? You want to stack your stress and hard things in the first half of the day, and by this time, like 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock for me, you want to not be under insane stress, hard training, around a bunch of light. You want to keep it natural, right? How would it normally be? Right, so my last meal is 3 hours before bed. I start avoiding light 2 hours before bed. I'll just remember naturally. I don't know why. I just do. And then yeah, that time from 11:30 to 12:30, I finished up on work. Right, a lot of people, they enjoy their time and then they go, oh, okay, I need to do a bit more work, plan tomorrow. That just stresses you out even more. You want to finish up, wrap up, plan the day after, do the final things, get shit out of your mind, maybe journal, plan, whatever, right? And then enjoy your time. I give myself an hour to watch YouTube and chill out. And the trick is, you don't want to watch YouTube and stuff in your bed, because it's training your brain to associate your bed with other things instead of, oh shit, I've got to call in 5 minutes. It's gonna train your brain to associate your bed with other random things instead of sleep. So enjoy your time on the couch, other environments, blue light blockers on. If you want to watch YouTube, whatever, call someone, whatever. Just don't sabotage your sleep, because that's the number one performance enhancing thing we are trying to optimize for. So, yeah, and yeah, from 11:30 to 12:30, or I guess 12 to 1, it's really just low stress. I'm just making sure I don't engage in anything, message girls or family or friends, anything that's going to stress me out. I don't engage in any of that, and I'm protecting my sleep. So you guys should do that. In terms of supplements, I just take magnesium glycinate. I take like 3 pills, which is around like 600 milligrams, maybe 500 milligrams. Most people are magnesium deficient. It's not in our food, it's not in our water. We stress a lot. When you stress a lot, you deplete magnesium. Boom! Just gave you guys so much fucking sauce, right? And yeah, there's more I could get into, but that's kind of the overall what I do every single day, how I sustain good energy levels. And yeah, this didn't really include social events, like, throughout the day I might go eat with my friend or go for a walk or whatever, call my friends. That stuff is important for health as well. But besides that, that's pretty much what I do in terms of my supplements, my meal timing, why I do things in that timely manner, how it makes sense, even biologically. And yeah, if you add that up, I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's still like 8 to 9 hours of deep work, right? And the trick is this is the break time, really. Even though you're training, it's still kind of a break time, especially here and right after training. This is your hunt. This is your recuperation, and then you're hunting again here. Whenever you try and just force yourself to cramp things out at 30, like you're just operating at 30% all day. This is something that's been sustainable. So ask yourself, is what you're doing, is your ideal routine actually sustainable? I used to think, no, this routine here sucks. I'd rather just work all day, but it's not sustainable. You end up hating your life. You end up hating your business. You end up feeling like shit. And I don't know about you, but I end up making more progress like this anyway, even though it seems like you're getting less work done than a 12-hour workday like Alex Hormozy, who's a bit of a psychopath, and he takes testosterone. So I don't think we should take too much advice from him. So hope you guys found that useful. If you did, leave a like, sub, comment. If you want me to personally audit your lifestyle, your performance, your health, and give you some kind of roadmap going forward, then you can book a call with me below. Just message me the word audit, AUDIT, on Instagram, and we will chat from there. But yeah, bye.